Rupert Spira is probably the most famous spiritual teacher right now. There's a big responsibility coming with such a big fame.
I'm at a empty point in my life and in my understanding of the teaching.
He wants to know why non-duality is not working. The proper attitude when you go to a teacher is to what? To listen. You're not supposed to interpret.
Had a deep understanding that the conditioned part cannot possibly exist.
Now, that's one of the number one myth that's right now currently dominating the non-dual discussion. How, if it doesn't exist, how does he know it doesn't exist? It definitely exists. Duality exists. Suffering exists. Pain exists. Your ego exists. All these things that you say don't exist, exist because you know they exist. And if they don't exist, you know that they don't exist.
All my joy and my enthusiasm seemed like to die off. I'm sitting here, hearing the teaching, being in the meditation, everything understood, but nothing touches me.
He wasn't actually listening. Well, why did the feeling of happiness disappear? Well, because he wasn't doing any karma yoga. Without practicing karma yoga in your daily life, that non-duality is not going to stick.
It's just like everything was empty.
Everybody knows emptiness, knows that feeling of being incomplete and inadequate and unfulfilled and so forth and so on. Everybody understands that feeling. Now, your bliss shouldn't depend upon the presence of a happy thought or the absence of an unhappy thought. If you know who you are or you know what you are, you can say, I am bliss.
Michael, are you at peace in yourself?
There are some aspects in my life that I'm not really in peace with, yes.
That this gentleman doesn't get it. He's not tuning in to Rupert. When I was with my guru, nobody would look around or think or do anything else. They'd be so absorbed in the bliss and the peace of the experience of the self.
But when we first hear about non-duality, it's so exciting, it's so elating. Every day some marvelous new breakthroughs. It's in contrast with the old life of anxiety and sorrow, and suddenly now there are these periods where there's no sorrow and there's no anxiety. After a while, it becomes your natural state.
Except when it doesn't. This is a definite problem with Rupert's teaching because he doesn't teach karma yoga. Karma yoga means the God teaching. God means the field of existence. Devotion to Ishvara, devotion to God. Karma yoga is a devotional attitude that you have with reference to God. You take everything that happens to you as a gift from God.
You're not elated about it all the time. It's not a special experience because you've kind of almost lost the memory.
It's not a special experience. He's right about that. It's ordinary awareness. It's ordinary bliss. It's ordinary life. That's a hard state to accept because, our whole life is defined by our ups and downs. With this particular understanding, you're not interested in what other people are thinking of you, and you're not interested in what you're thinking of you because you're satisfied with the bliss of awareness. The nature of awareness is bliss. You live your life in a state of oneness, in a state of union with what? With yourself.
It's not bliss. It's peace.
The bliss that you are and experiential bliss. There's a difference.
You feel elated, you feel expanded, you feel light, you feel relieved of a burden. 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, you no longer feel elated, you no longer feel expanded, you no longer feel...
Rupert's a good teacher. He's not a good teacher of non-duality. He's a good teacher of duality.
You feel you have a sort of well of peace in you. It's nothing special, but it disturbs you more and more throughout the day. It calls you back. Just feel you have this, it's like an ocean of peace in you. It's not special, it's your natural condition.
How do you know what you know? He's not ever been taught properly. If he'd had a Vedanta teacher, then he would have formulated all this differently. A good teacher and a good teaching supplies you with an alternative view and lets you test it out to see if it works in that case, and then it leaves it up to you whether you want to continue with that or not. Well, with Vedanta, you will continue with it because you'll be growing and changing every minute. The person who was there is no longer there here now. It had to disappear or die to become the person that he is now. Vedanta, and that is self-inquiry, and that does transform you from moment to moment, in which case you're excited about life. God is doing you.
There's nothing else left to think about. That intensity that I had for those 40 years, it's kind of quietened down. And in a way, my life is much simpler. It's just gone back to simplicity.
I'll bet this is before he had his little moral problem. He seems to be quite peaceful and quite okay with it, and which he shouldn't be, actually. There's a whole moral dimension that's missing from Rupert's teaching. Karma Yoga is missing, and the Dharma Yoga is missing. It's a moral dimension of universe, and you cannot ignore the moral dimension. If you ignore the moral dimension, you will suffer. No questions about it.